Yo, welcome back, everybody. Zip It Up podcast. We back at it today. It's June 11th when we're recording. I'm watching another NBA Finals game, and I got my buddy on with me this week. Jeremy, would you say hey to everybody?
What's up?
Yeah. So anyway, this is Jeremy Tyson. This is my best friend and the world's worst influence that we got on this week. Right? Am I right?
That's what I heard.
You'll probably say the same about me, won't you?
Well, that's what everyone else says.
So Jeremy is a first-time guest on the pod, and we've been best friends for I haven't done the exact math, but I think we're going on close to 20 years, brother. Am I
Yeah.
accurate with that?
Yeah, that was 10th grade. Yeah, we about 2 years short of 20.
That's crazy. We're closer to 20 than we are 15. So, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Man, 2 decades, bro.
Right?
Another thing I want to know. It looks like you want to go by Jeremy on the pod. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go by Jeff or El Presidente.
Well, Jeremy's what everyone calls me, but yeah, Jeff is my first name. But we'll stick with Jeremy for the podcast for everyone
He,
else's sake.
he's Jeff when he's parking in the handicap spot, right? Um, and make sure you show off the shirt to everybody. I'm a big fan of the shirt you got on tonight. I thought you were going to wear that other one that you just bought in February. And if you
Dale,
wore the
yeah.
other one, I was going to call you Del Presidente.
Dale Presidente.
Had a good ring to it. But anywho, rocking the Rainbow Warrior outfit tonight. All right, so let's go ahead and start drinking. We're already 2 minutes in. And
Amen.
so you got to tell me what you got this week. Drink of the night.
Let me tell you what the drink of the night is.
Please do.
It's I usually stick with the Mick Ultras, but in honor of the podcast tonight, I went with the Bush Light
Okay.
because they a sponsor
Oh, of the series, right?
of Chastain.
Chastain, yeah. Definitely not a sponsor of my podcast show. That'd be awesome.
Nope.
Maybe one day. All right, cool. I got my new beer. It's my last one that I got. This was called High Volume. It's a pineapple upside down vanilla sour. And this is from Sideward Brewing, right down the street from my house. Shout out East Colonial, Bumby Avenue, Sideward Brewing if you're in the Central Florida area. I frequent them very often, and I'll probably be over there tomorrow because this is my last of my 4-pack. I'm about to make another mess. I did this last week too. So, before we take our first sip, gosh, here we go again. Got to make a toast. So, this coming week is Father's Day weekend. And we know there's tons of dudes out there that listen to the pod and want to wish y'all a happy Father's Day. Not to get sentimental or anything, but being a father is the favorite hat that I wear. So, yeah, I love fatherhood, and I know Jeremy is also a dad. So, happy early Father's Day to you, brother.
Why, thank you. Happy Father's Day to you.
Yeah, this one's to all the dads. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Mm. Yeah, you got to get you some of those though.
Need to try that.
Speaking of fatherhood, let's clue these people in real quick. I wasn't planning on doing this. I did not have this in the outline. But let's clue these people in on just how close and how best of friends we are. We always said that because we grew up together, our children were going to grow up together. So, happy Father's Day to you because the first time you thought there was a chance that your wife might have a little kid in her belly, you called me up and said, "Kozy, it's time. Get on it."
You did that first.
Oh yeah, was that a
You
false
had
alarm?
Yeah, you had the pregnancy scare and said, "Oh, bro, get to work," and then I returned the favor.
Did. Second time, I guess we made it work. Your
We
kid's old,
did.
man.
We did.
All right. Let's get into some racing talk, I guess. Coming off of the Michigan race, we got some hot topics we're going to discuss. And to let the folks know beforehand, I went ahead and gave you all the hot topics we're going to talk about. So we're looking forward to hearing what you got to say. But a little bit later in the episode, they're going to continue to learn more about you. I'll ask you some questions, and then we'll give our best preview that we can for Mexico City a little bit later. Never been to
Hmm.
Mexico City, so I don't know how we're going to preview the race, but we're
I
going to
got a
do our
little bit
best.
of info on that.
Yeah, you got something for us?
Just a little bit, little
Yo,
tidbit.
stick around, people. Stick around to the end. But yeah, let's start with the hot topics coming out of the race. I actually got to watch the race this week. Very different from last week. I was clueless on the podcast. This week I feel like I know a lot. Coming from Michigan, I was watching very closely. But we got to start with the race winner, Denny frickin' Hamlin. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and put my hand up and make an admission that I was wrong about Denny Hamlin this year. I as a part of my season preview, I made a bold prediction that Denny was going to have a down year, and what would qualify him as having a down year, I think, would be like outside the top 10 in points by the time the chase gets here. Like I always thought he was going to be a playoff driver, but I didn't think he was going to be good enough to be top 10 in points with all the distractions that's going on. Um, and one of those distractions could be a big distraction this week. But up until this point in the season, he's been extremely good. He's on top of his game right now. Like he's maybe looked the best that he's ever looked in his career. And this is coming after he just made a 700 start last week. So you don't usually see drivers excel this good this deep into their career, but Denny's doing that right now, and that's just me having to be honest. Um, I thought that the distractions would hurt him this year, but they haven't yet. He's got a new crew chief, and that hasn't slowed him down at all. He lost FedEx as a sponsor. That hasn't slowed him down at all. He's got the lawsuit going on with 2311, which escalated over the past week, and that still has not slowed him down at all. Um, so that one of the things that I thought could slow him down would possibly be the birth of his baby coming up. And again, like he's got 3 wins on the season so far. He's really good. So what I was going to say about this upcoming weekend is he's planning on racing, but only if the baby is born before he has to go to Mexico City. If the baby's not here yet and it's time for that plane to leave, he said that he's not going. He is prioritizing the birth of his baby. So, it's a good thing that he has those 3 wins. It's a good thing that he's stacked all the playoff points. Good thing for Denny. Not a good thing for us. I'm not happy at all about it because I still can't stand the guy. But I got to let people know when I'm wrong about something. And this one, I've been terribly wrong about. However, I'm not folding just yet because maybe this baby comes along and becomes my best friend and happens to throw a little wrench in this season. Not getting points this week would hurt. He could, still finish outside the top 10 in points. And also, we're coming up on quite a few road courses between now and the playoffs. And he's not very good at road courses lately. So it's a good thing for Denny that he's been uh, this this strong this early in the season. And then the last thing I'm going to say about him is that he's really leaned into the playing the villain role, and he does it really good. And that doesn't make me like him anymore, but it makes me appreciate him a little bit more, if that makes any sense. I would compare it to if you're a WWE fan, The Miz. He's always been the villain. He's always been the heel. He plays it really good, and you've just come to like the guy or appreciate the role he plays because of how good he is at it. So that seems to be what Denny's doing right now. And yeah, you want to add anything on that?
I have a lot of the same thoughts. um, regarding like his driving ability and everything. One thing that's not surprising to me is his success so far this season, even with him being 44 years old. Um, because he does like to dominate the regular season, but does he show up when it matters?
Nah, man, he hasn't yet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And also, I'm very glad that I caught the vibe right away that we don't have to we can use our own opinions. We don't have to pretend that Hamlin's this great thing or anything. I respect his driving ability and everything, but he is absolutely the villain of NASCAR right now, and it's he gets the most booze right now.
Yeah, and he plays it so well. I think that's why I still can't stand him. I hate him. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen anyone this good at playing the villain since Kyle Busch.
yeah, agreed. Um, I see myself as the Jeff Gordon protector. Like I feel like that's a role that I play.
Hmm,
So
hmm.
Jeff has 3 Daytona 500s. Denny has 3 Daytona 500s. It's going to kill me if he wins another one in his career because that's going to mean he
Absolutely.
passed Jeff up. Like
Hmm,
I,
hmm.
I, I, I hope that day never comes. One thing we do know is that Denny still doesn't have that championship, like you said, and he might always have that hang over him, and to me, that is a glorious thing.
It is great. It is great. At least we know that come playoff time, it's
He ain't catching Jeff in that category. I
nope,
can
nope, nope.
confidently say that. So yeah, it is what it is. He's having his year, like you said, but hopefully he will falter off.
Right, right, right.
Oh man, my throat is killing me already. I'm gonna go through this can like it's nothing. All right. So the next topic is Carson Hocevar runs up front again. He seems to be like what everybody's talking about right now because each week he's finding himself running up front. Doesn't have the win yet, but everybody knows it's inevitable. It's coming at some point. And so this was just another solid showing for the kid. He contends for a win again. This time, a flat tire killed his chances to win, and that kind of shows his inexperience. Over time, that's something that is going to come easier to him, managing tires and whatnot. You usually see veterans outlasting guys at the end of races, and a lot of people probably wonder like why the kid Hocevar would have a flat tire at the end of the race, but at the end of that race, you're pushing as hard as you have all night. And so, with just a little bit of inexperience, that's all it takes to lose your race. And but he's got speed. It's there every week. We see it. He's about to break through. What do you make of Carson Hocevar?
It's easy to see he's improving every week. Um, like you said, his inexperience, he might not have been able to feel how his tire was breaking down over that time there. Also, in my personal opinion, I don't believe him or Byron had a shot because of how long they were taking that clean air up front, and that was gonna, where they're definitely give them more fuel wear than the rest of the field,
It was
which is
sucking their
why
fuel for sure.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, yeah, it was gonna be tough for him to win that race, but he's definitely improving every week. He is being a little bit reckless. I know a couple of the cup drivers have reached out to him and saying like, "Hey, like I don't remember who it was specifically, but someone reached out to him and said, "Hey, I got like a bunch of other Cup guys driving me. Like, man, take Hocevar out. Whoever he wrecked the past week, I don't remember who it was.
Yeah,
Um,
Stenhouse.
Stenhouse. Yeah, he said, "Hey, I got all these other drivers texting me saying just take him out. Like, teach him a lesson, and that's the way you're rubbing everyone." And he, according to whatever they said on the pre-race this Sunday, he didn't take it like to heart very well. He kind of just like brushed it off and didn't seem to bother him much. So he definitely needs to maybe chill out a little bit. But I do see, let me tell you, the race I see his best chance at winning next. It's going to be the Echo Park 400.
Yeah, Atlanta, huh?
Mhm. Mhm.
You think that's when he will have his best chance remaining?
Right, right, right. Yeah, I mean, he's good on all tracks. He's got speed every week, but it seems to be the mile and a half tracks that he has the best shot on. And I know that's kind of a super speedway setting, but all the more reason to give him more of a shot.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like you said, the mile and a half, they've been his strong suit.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's not, yeah, super speedways, anybody can go there, but we'll find out a lot this week at the road course and over the next month or two about the road course program that he's been developing into. But yeah, I mean, each of these races that he's running up front are the mile and a halves, and he looks
Exactly.
good. So yeah, I agree. It's going to be one of those ovals.
Mhm.
Probably not
Mhm.
one of the big ovals,
Right,
but
right, right.
yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, Atlanta could definitely be on there. Shortly after that, like Dover could be another one.
Yep, those were the two that I saw coming up that I thought he had the best shot.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, we'll see what the future holds for that kid. Like you said, he's running into the back of a lot of guys, so pissing
Mhm.
dudes
Mhm.
off. That is
On a,
also. Go ahead. Go ahead.
on another note, I I thought that Ty Gibbs was gonna get his first win before Hocevar, and it's looking like it's gonna be the other way around. Like this guy came out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, I know. As great as Ty Gibbs was in Xfinity,
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
just been underwhelming since he came up to Cup. And yeah, I mean, we're a lot more confident in Hocevar probably getting that win, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. Post race, Gibbs said that he was going like halfway on the gas because they told him to. He said he definitely had enough to just like fly by those guys, but he was afraid to. Well, he wasn't afraid to run out of gas. He basically said, "Screw finishing third. I want to win this race. Like I don't care about finishing third. We can finish last or first."
Yeah, and I don't blame him for feeling that way because he's never won a Cup race before.
Exactly,
So again,
exactly. If he could have pushed it a little bit harder, he could have got up there, and who knows, he might have ran out of gas.
yeah, yeah. In hindsight, third place was good for that team, but it doesn't
Oh, for
like
sure. Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't race to finish third.
No, no, he's racing for his first win.
hmm Well, we'll move on to the next topic. Probably, probably not a big topic, but I wanted to mention it real quick. Chase Briscoe, he has three straight poles, which I mean, you don't. The pole doesn't win you anything on Sunday, but it's a good note for the team that I don't really want us to overlook him because it's showing me right now that speed is there for that team. We all knew when Truex got out, whoever they replaced was going to be jumping into a good ride. So the speed is still there. That team could be on the verge of maybe breaking through and getting a win soon. And we have to remind ourselves this is still just year one for this team being all together with the driver. So, I was thinking, I don't remember what his contract details are, but if this was like a 1 year tryout for Chase Briscoe up until this point, do you think that they're going to give him the ride next year too, or maybe go look somewhere else? What are your thoughts on that? Just quickly, I know I didn't prepare you for that question, but it's something that
Um,
I've thought about. Like he's showing impressive speed. It's still early on. Like we still have a second half to this season where a lot of things could go south, and we might not think as highly about them later. And like I said, it's only qualifying that they're impressing. They're not doing anything much on Sunday yet. That could be right around the corner, though.
right, right, right. What is his deal for right now?
I don't know. I haven't even looked.
Yeah, just a hypothetical if it was a 1 year deal.
Yeah, yeah. Which,
Yeah,
and to be honest, that's what I think it is. I could be very wrong, though.
maybe. Yeah. That would seem weird to me that they only gave him 1 year. But we'll see. Anyways, the I obviously not impressed with his performance so far. He's I think he's a very skilled driver. He's shown some he's won in that the Stewart Haas cars that weren't that great before. Um but I expected like a big jump going into this 19 that Truex was driving.
Yeah,
Truex never qualified great. like in the 19, but he always had impressive speed. And right now, he just kind of looks like a Ranger Rick. Like he's great in practice, great qualifying, but once the race comes, it's just where is he?
Yeah, it reminds me of Ryan Newman. Like always sat on the pole, but didn't win a whole lot of races.
Yep, yep. He just hasn't been what we expected with the switch to the 19 going from that Stewart Haas.
Yeah,
And he's shown like good skill on the short tracks
yeah,
like Phoenix, Martinsville, like those are like his tracks which don't require speed as
yeah,
much.
yeah.
But yeah, now he's
Yeah,
got the speed and that skill. I expected more.
right. Yeah, maybe that's something gonna come into fruition. We'll see. Um, I will say this: Truex, we know him as a great driver in that 19, but even on the end of his career, he was not performing up to his standards in that 19 car.
Right,
And
right. He didn't
so,
even get a win in his final season.
yeah, I think it would be interesting to look at Truex last season and Briscoe's first season and
Hmm.
compare them, and maybe that's what will help them make their decision at the end of the season.
Yeah, yeah. It just seems like the rest of Team Gibbs is doing fine.
Yeah, yeah. Now that Gibbs is starting to put it together too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, Gibbs, they got 6 wins already this year. That's
Mm-hmm.
3 from Bell, 3 from Hamlin, and then of course the All-Star win with Christopher Bell as well. So
Yep,
yeah, they got rocket ships right now.
they do.
And of course they're leading the series in polls because that's Briscoe's got 3 in a row, but he's got 4 on the season.
Mm-hmm.
So man, yeah, they got speed. All right, so last topic we're going to talk about before we get into the Hendrick stuff, and this is an interesting subject came up this past week. So Ram announced that they are coming back to NASCAR, and they're going to be in the Truck Series, I believe, next season, 2026. But it was also said that possibly 2027 or beyond, there could be a fourth manufacturer joining the Cup Series. Like that's their goal is to jump into trucks now and eventually have a brand join the Cup Series. All these brands kind of fall under the Stellantis brand, whatever that is. I don't know what brands are underneath that umbrella. Obviously, Ram is, but I think Ram's only a truck, so you can't really have a Ram car in the Cup Series. So I do know that the most common brand that's being mentioned is Dodge. Um, Obviously, it could be any of their other brands, but Dodge is the one that's being talked about possibly coming back to NASCAR in the Cup Series because they were once there before, not too long ago, actually. So I was going to ask you the question. Both of us have this question: is that if Dodge or one of these other brands were to join the Cup Series as a fourth manufacturer, who is the driver that you're going after to bring on into your team and kind of make the face of the franchise, like put him at the top of your roster? And this could be any driver. I'd imagine it's going to be a proven driver. So it could be someone from the Cup Series, could be someone from Xfinity, maybe someone just now starting to get into trucks like Corey Heim. Is that a guy you go after? Maybe Connor Zilic. He's the guy that's bringing Red Bull with him, apparently. And so um, I have a couple names that came to mind, and I feel like this is a very spicy take, but I'm going to save it to listen to what you have to say first. Like, who's the guy that you would go after if you're the head of Dodge or one of those other brands coming into Cup?
Um, so I think am I correct in the that Kyle Busch just signed an extension with Richard Childress?
I think you're right about that, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So he's not an option. Um,
But I'll put this out there too: is that I don't know how much to make of contracts because we saw Tyler Reddick, like they
right.
voided his contract at Childress so he could be with 2311 a year early. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe Kyle Busch could be on that list, even though he just signed an extension, like you said.
Right, right. Yeah. Hocevar. He's
That's
not
your
gonna.
guy, huh? That's your guy?
He's gonna be a free agent next year. We also have Daniel Suarez. I would definitely put the rising talent of Hocevar above him, but I mean, definitely something to consider.
Yeah, yeah. So those are your top two guys. Hocevar probably being number one prospect.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me throw this out there, and this is gonna. I have not practiced this. I wrote down my notes and everything I want to mention. This is my spicy ass take.
Hot take time.
Uh, but my, I mean, obviously, if I was the owner of Dodge, and I'm not, I'm a Chevy guy, but if I was Dodge, I would go after Chase Elliott. And so here's the reason being. I'm going to give you this from three different points of view. If I'm Dodge, I'm trying to acquire a rock star, a guy that can be the face of the franchise, right? And if we get Chase Elliott, we're taking a guy that has a ton of fans. So, like, now you're building a solid foundation with your fan base right off the get go. Chase has proven himself already. He's a championship caliber driver. Why not bring a guy over that still probably hasn't reached the peak of his career yet? Could be entering it soon. Should be entering it soon. But it could be a good prospect from Dodge's point of view. If I'm Chase Elliott, I'm already third in line at Hendrick Motorsports. Um, winning's kind of become an afterthought. So this gives him kind of a chance to reset his career. And also, his dad drove for Dodge back in the day. If we all remember that number 9 car, it was red, had Dodge right there on the hood of it. So maybe there's some family connections there. We know how loyal he is, not just to family, but also to Hendrick Motorsports. So we know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. He's been loyal thus far. Like, they signed him when he was just a kid, like a teenager. Um, and then another hurdle for him to jump over would be, can he bring the number 9 with him? I don't know if that would have anything to do with him making a decision like that. But then, from the third point of view, if I'm Hendrick Motorsports, like, we still have the best of the best, even if we lose Chase. Like, he's been down. We still got Larson, still got Byron. And it might just remove a little bit of pressure, and it might let Chase blossom, which, we kind of saw that happen with Kyle Busch with Hendrick Motorsports years ago. They let him go at an early age, and we saw what he turned into, a 60-win kind of guy. So this might hurt ripping the Band-Aid off, but it might also let him blossom into the driver that we see plenty of potential for. Hendrick's always going to attract the next top driver, so I don't feel like they won't be able to replace him. Like, they'll be able to bring someone else in, top tier guy, and so yeah, they might make the cut that they don't want to make themselves. Chase might help them with it if he decides to void his Chevy contract or whatever it is, his allegiances to Hendrick and Chevy, and decides to pop over to Dodge. Like, that might just help HMS kind of get out of this hole where he's gone, I think, 84 or 85 straight points races and only one win. That's a long stretch. Feels like, I don't know. As a fan, I'm always going to love him wherever he goes. I'm going to love Hendrick Motorsports. I would hate to see that split, but that could be something that works out. Of course, there's a lot that's going to happen between now and then. But, like, if you're Stellantis or Dodge, like, why not? Like, go get that superstar, that rock star that everybody loves. The only other guy I was going to mention is Ross Chastain. I'm not going to go as in-depth on him, but kind of like for the reason you mentioned Hocevar and Suarez, like, if Dodge can pry away Trackhouse, you got Chastain over there as your number 1 driver. Everyone's always thought to themselves, like, what if Ross was the number 1 guy? Because it's believed that he lost some of his speed when Rick Hendrick called him out, right? If he was the number 1 guy, no one would be calling you out. If you can go race freely for Dodge and be their top guy, it's scary what Ross Chastain might do. He finished second in the points a few years ago. Like, he's a top tier kind of guy too, if given the right circumstances, and maybe Dodge would be the right circumstances for Ross. I feel like he is a superstar on the verge if he could just ever be let free. And right now with Chevy, I don't think he can. Um, and for us, that's good, but who knows? So that's the two that I wanted to mention. Maybe see what you think about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that's a lot to take in.
It was.
I know so.
I didn't even consider them as available for
Right, yeah.
Dodge. But
And again, it's probably highly unlikely.
right. But like you said, I feel like it might be it might be good for Chase to get away from Hendrick because right now it feels like you said it feels like he's just the third guy and they're giving all the best stuff, the best equipment to Larson and Byron every week and not saving the good stuff for him anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think if frustration continues to build for him, that could be an option that he largely considers.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, Chastain is elite. I mean, that would be a good foundation for any team.
Right. Yeah. Good, man. Interesting. Those are the hot topics from the race at Michigan. Almost forgot where we were. So, real quick, before we finish our Michigan recap, let me go over team by team. What I'm going to do is just give some stats from the past race, and if you want to add something at the end, we can do that. But let's start with our best finisher, Kyle Larson. He started fifth, and then he finished fifth, and he only scored stage points in the first stage. So it was just a so-so day for Larson. I didn't really have any notes on him except he ran up front. Just didn't really seem like he was ever going to control the race. I know at the end of the race, he was also kind of fell back into the wake of guys just to try and save some fuel as well. I don't know how much he was holding back. There was a lot going on at the end of the race. I loved it, but Larson ends up as our best finisher, but never felt like he was actually going to win the race for us, though.
Definitely never seemed like he had the car that could get up there and win the race. But also, I feel like everyone was maybe half on the gas trying to save just to make it through the end of the race.
Yeah, yeah. Next we had Chase Elliott. He started 17th, and then he finished 15th. He scored no stage points. He did find himself in the lead, and that shouldn't be a surprise, but it was. And so there was a pit cycle that was kind of a mishap, and I'm going to blame it on Alan Gustafson, the crew chief. But back when Bowman got wrecked, sorry, I got to mute myself real quick. Big cough. So much better. All right. So anyway, yeah, when the Bowman wreck happened, uh, Chase was in the lead. Gosh, I can't get over this. I can't shake it, whatever it is.
So much better.
Man, I feel terrible for the people listening. Anywho, Chase was in the lead, and they had a chance to come down pit road. They decided to stay out, and like everybody else that was in the lead with him, came down pit road. Well, I think we pretty much admitted that we should have pitted at that time because there was another quick caution, and we decided to pit alone. And that was stupid. I think we were committed to staying out until we had to come back down pit road, maybe later in the run, but not right away. And man, it ticked me off seeing this happen live. But if we pit with everybody else on that first caution, then we're probably coming out around 15th to 20th. But because we didn't, and we decided to do it the next, I mean, it wasn't even 10 laps, and there was another caution. This time we pit, and all those guys passed us, and we now came out, I think, 32nd. I could be wrong about that, but it was in the 30s. And just terrible. And I'm sorry, but that is on the crew chief, Alan Gustafson, because Chase does not decide when to bring the car down pit road. That is the crew chief and his call. And I think he was admitting that we should have pitted with everybody else. So, like I said, I wish we would have stuck to the strategy that we kind of gave ourselves. And maybe that would have been the wrong strategy. Who knows? But you got to be committed one way or the other. And I didn't like what I saw. I don't know if you have anything to add on that, but how about Chase's race for
Yeah,
Michigan?
well, Gustafson's been there for the good times with Chase and the bad times. He was there for a lot of the bad times for Jeff. So I'm very used to him his pitch strategies costing us races.
Yeah.
Um, so no surprise there, but yeah, then he had to drive all the way back up through the field, and he finished in what he's been stuck in all year and probably the past couple years, just mediocrity.
Yeah. It's never like I said, I got excited and I was surprised when he was in the lead because we just don't see that anymore.
Right, right, yeah. He was just hoping for a miracle at that point, and then it just did not work out with his crew chief Gustafson and whatnot. So
Yeah. Do you remember who was running second when Chase was in the lead?
I don't.
Blaney.
Blaney.
Yeah. So I as soon as I noticed that on the TV, I said, "Boys, look, Braden Gunner." I said, "Look, it's the top two guys. You're not going to see this again the rest of the season, probably." Yeah. And boy, sitting on that couch on Sunday, I went off even more on Gustafson. I'm not going to do that on the pod, but if things continue the way they're going, I will. I will share a live reaction if I have to because I don't like the way things are going right now. There's something not clicking with those two guys anymore. Like you said, he's been there for the good with Chase, but right now something is off. And this past week, it was the crew chief.
Oh yeah,
So
well, he was there for the bad with where's the signature? Jeff Gordon.
we do still love Allen, but
Yeah.
got to make things work. Got to make things happen. All right, enough of that. Next, we got William Byron. He started fourth, and then he scored points in each stage. He had the
One stage.
Xfinity fastest lap of the race, and then he went on to finish 28th. So this was him running out of gas at the end of the race.
I think he ran
He
out
was
with one lap to
clearly,
go, right?
no, it was a little bit before that. Not much. There was not much left.
I don't
Well,
remember
well,
exactly when it
maybe,
came down
maybe
to it,
he
though.
did lose the lead uh, before he ran out.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess you can say that it didn't cost. It did cost him the race, but in some respects, he did lose the lead before he ran out. He was just committed to running all out as fast as he could and trying to get there at the end. He was clearly going for the win, and if it cost him, it cost him. Like it is what it is. I'm okay with that strategy.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
he didn't need a good point. He had a good points day.
Right, right,
So
right. He's able to risk it all for wins at this point.
yeah, um,
And
I am. I continue to be impressed by this team, though. He led a bunch of laps again.
oh
Like
yeah.
we've seen him dominate a few races this year. Like Darlington was almost a perfect race. Charlotte, the 600, he led the majority of that race, the longest race of the season. And then this one, he did. I wouldn't say he dominated. He wasn't the best car all day on Sunday, but he was up there when he needed it to count the most, and he put
Mm-hmm.
himself in
Mm-hmm.
position again. You can see that all day long he was up there. He scored stage points all day. He just that's why he's the points leader of this series. Every week they're contending. Every week they're leading laps. Eventually, those results are going to happen for him.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. I mean he had the laps led and he won the pretty sure it was the second stage that he won.
Yeah.
Yeah, second stage, stage 2, he won. Just looked that up. And he had the fastest lap of the day. I mean, this is the 24 is still number 1 in my power rankings.
Yeah.
He's just there every week. He
Yeah.
shows what he's got.
Consistently there.
And
Um,
let me tell you what beat him. He was beat the second Chastain, the second Hocevar blew that tire because that put him
yeah.
out in the clean air and
Yeah.
that
He was
that
going to
destroyed
be.
his fuel mileage.
Yeah.
If Hocevar could have hung on a little bit longer, he was going to run out of gas for sure, being in that clean air. But if he would just a little bit longer, and I think Byron could have made it to the end of the race just by
Yeah.
drafting him.
And Hocevar was second when he blew the tire.
No, he was it?
I
Oh
think
yeah,
he
you're
was.
right. I think Byron might have passed him already when he blew the tire.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so to me, he was kind of acting like a cushion too between Byron and whoever was third.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. So might be wrong in my My
Dude,
analogy
I
there.
could be wrong too. I told you I watched the race, but I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
how much I was into it when I saw all that crap happening in stage two. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I feel like I was gonna say one more thing about Williams. Oh, yeah, yeah. You said that he won the second stage, and then stage one he finished second. So like
hmm
he's just always up there, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Always
He's
count on him.
dominant right now.
Yeah, yeah. I love what I'm seeing from that team. Last, don't love what I'm seeing from this team, but Alex Bowman started 16th and then finished 36. I believe that was dead last. He got no stage points. He got caught up in someone else's wreck, and so I'm gonna go ahead and get this out. Like I said it last week, when you run with the scrubs, you become one of the scrubs. That's exactly what happened to Bowman in the first stage. We saw him go backwards. Stage two, I believe he was going to work himself up there. You know, the race is long. I understand having to work on the car all day, get things better, but when you end up in the middle of the pack, that's where the chaos happens. You're going to get caught up in it. So they have to unload better. They got to bring a car a little bit better to the track and get things figured out sooner. They got to qualify better. And they keep putting themselves backwards with bad qualifying runs because they have to qualify so early. Now, I don't know how that's going to translate when we go to a road course this week. So maybe they'll qualify a little bit better, even though they're going out so early. I'm not sure how qualifying's working at this street course, but yeah, it just seems they can never catch a break, but they're also not helping themselves out and doing themselves any favors. But I gotta say, like, I know I'm bringing some negativity to the team. Still love that team, and I know they got it in them. But at the end of the day, I'm really glad that he walked away from that crash. Because as soon as I saw it, if you're a NASCAR fan, you cannot help but think of seeing the three car wreck at Daytona. Like that's exactly what that Bowman wreck looked like. And so the fact that he was able to walk away, um, really, really glad about that, happy about that. But just wish he would have never been caught up in that junk in the first place. I feel like they need to be racing a little bit further ahead in the pack than that. He, like I said, he was running with the scrubs, and that's what happens. So, what do you want to add about the 48 race in Michigan,
Obviously,
if any?
great that he's okay. That was a terrible crash to witness. It was just a straight hook right into the wall.
Yeah,
Um, he is, obviously, I feel like he's the weakest link in Hendrick.
yeah,
Um, he has a few flashes, like, I was going to talk about this in my prediction for, Mexico, since it's a Hendrick Motorsports, podcast here. Um, and put him in my long shots because of the way he dominated. Well, he didn't dominate, but he ran very good in the Chicago street race last year.
I think what you meant to say is it wasn't a fluke.
What's that?
Last year, the Chicago street race. Like, yeah, he didn't dominate, but it also wasn't a fluke.
It
Like he
was,
went
yeah,
out there.
exactly, exactly. I feel like a lot of his wins were a lot of his wins. He doesn't have that many. A few of his wins were definitely flukes. But he definitely earned that Chicago street race win.
Yeah,
I remember watching Tyler Reddick chase him down, but he couldn't do it.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, yeah. I mean, he shows flashes, but he's just not consistent.
yeah, yeah. That's I know I started this episode by saying I was wrong about Denny. I was wrong about Bowman too. I thought they were going to come out and have a crazy good year. I thought he was going to lead the series in top tens, and that's clearly not going to happen. So, um, yeah, but it is what it is. It's there. They're in Hendrick equipment, and he'll surprise us at some point. He kind of already surprised me earlier this year at Homestead, Miami, when he ran second. I couldn't believe that. But yeah, every week you can count on them just effing something up. That's the best way
Yeah.
I can put it. Like I don't know how else to put
Yeah, whenever I take him in fantasy, it don't work out.
it. Quit taking.
Yeah, I have. I have.
All right, so yeah, that's our Michigan recap. Uh, we're gonna hustle through the second half of this episode, but Before we do, let me give you an update on the current standings. Now, every week I usually do the point standings. Starting this week, I'm going to start looking at the current playoff standings because we're coming up on, I think we're 11, 12 races out maybe of the playoffs. So those standings are going to matter a little bit more now than the point standings will. So here's the rundown. The current leader of the playoff standings is Kyle Larson. And if the playoffs started right now, he would start with 23 playoff points. He's leading everybody in that category. William Byron would be fourth in the playoff points. He's got 12 of those. However, side note, William Byron is still the points leader. He's got 576 total points this season. Chase Elliott is 10th in the playoff standings. He is the top driver without a win. And currently he is plus 142 points. So if you looked at the total points, he's fifth. But those don't matter when it comes to playoff cut time. Right now he's 10th. And then Alex Bowman, he's falling closer and closer to that bubble line. He is currently 15th in the playoff standings. He's only 13 points to the good. And in the total point standings, he's 13th overall. So he is rapidly falling. And, like I said, he's pretty much on the cut line now. He's only 13 points in, and we see how quickly that changes in either direction. But right now, they just don't have the mojo, and they need to get some quickly. So that is the current playoff standings. Now it's time to move into kind of like our halftime of the episode. I'm going to ask you a few questions to let the listeners learn a little bit more about you and maybe your connection with NASCAR. So I got 5 questions that I like to ask all of my guests that come onto the pod, and now I'll go ahead and tell everybody when me and Jeremy met close to 20 years ago. Um, I think we probably met at a NASCAR race before we even knew we were best friends. Am I correct in saying that?
I believe we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah. It was probably one of the 400s back in like our
Yeah, it was
freshman
definitely
or
a
sophomore
July
year,
race.
freshman year. So we've been going to NASCAR races for a long time. So I have a feeling I know some of your answers to these questions, but I want the listeners to know. So here is question number 1. How long have you been interested in the sport of NASCAR?
I would say probably about third or fourth grade. I was like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years old. My cousin was a huge, still, I mean, we all still Jeff Gordon fans. But yeah, she was a huge Jeff Gordon fan. Got me started into collectibles and everything, and gave me some T-shirts, and I just loved the guy ever since. Quick
Yep.
note. Sorry if I'm looking off to the side. My camera's like off to the left here, and keep doing this. I'm not sure what to do with my hands right now.
Ugh. Man, 2 weeks in a row that we've had Ricky Bobby quotes, which I love even more so with you because we are the Shake and Bake Bros. A little bit of shake.
And bake.
Maybe that's how I should title this. I haven't figured out what to title this episode as.
That'd be
The
a good
Shake and
one.
Bake Bros, maybe.
The Shake and Bake Bros.
All right, so okay, so Jeff Gordon fan, that was a big part of our connection as well. How much interest do you have in Hendrick Motorsports?
Well, they've always been like my favorite NASCAR team. Um, More so now that Jeff Gordon's I believe he's the vice president of Hendrick
Vice Chairman,
Motorsports. Vice chairman, yeah, he's going to be taking over eventually.
whatever that means.
Yeah, we all know that Jeff's the man. He gonna be taking it over. So I'll always
Yeah,
be a firm supporter of Hendrick Motorsports.
yeah. All right, good. How do you rank the 4 Hendrick Motorsports Cup teams in terms of likability? So don't give me your power rankings. You can do that if you want, but like out of the 4 drivers, who do you like the most? Who do you like the least?
Oh, this is a personal thing.
Yes, yes.
Likability towards me.
Huh?
This is how I like them the most.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, definitely the 24 for me first.
Yeah.
I love Byron. I love the 24. Um, we got like I really respect just the way that Larson can drive anything. Like I like his ability. He's probably number two for me. Um, then we got Chase. That he's never really been like my someone that I like loved like you do or anything. But
Well, there was one day where he put Hamlin in the wall.
oh, he's definitely had his moments, and I love
Yeah.
that that he drove the 24 for a while and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then
That's
and
the
then
koozie,
but
man.
do what?
That's the koozie.
Hey, oh, that's a nice one.
24 Baja Blast. I thought you would appreciate that.
I really do. I
Yeah.
really do. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then we got Bowman bringing up the rear, or as I like to call him, Slowman.
Slowman. Oh, man. You might not ever be invited back on this pod.
Hey, hey, I got love for Hendrick Motorsports,
Nah,
and
you're good.
and I even got a little bit of love for Alex Bowman, a little bit, a little bit. But he just hasn't. I feel like he's lucked into a lot of his wins and everything, and like I said, that Chicago race was probably
His
the
best race, probably.
yeah, it probably was, probably
Yeah.
was
Okay.
that, and maybe the Richmond race where he beat Denny, and then they had a little face off at the end.
Yeah, yeah. That is one of my favorite all-time clips.
It is great. It is great.
Uh, all
One of the
right,
reasons I
so
hate Hamlin so much.
who are some of your favorite drivers from other teams?
Oh,
Who do you like in the sport?
let me tell you, my favorite
You got
aside
a
from Hendrick is
long
by
list?
huh?
Is it a long list?
No, 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 no. Um, since we're just gonna focus on my faves. Blaney's
All right.
number one for sure. That's not non-Hendrick. And then I'd probably put Christopher Bell
Oh yeah.
number two,
Mm.
right behind Blaney there. Well,
Uh,
well, yeah, yeah. I do love Tyler Reddick as well.
uh,
Nothing wrong with that guy. Very nice guy. And I'm not
Gotta
didn't
cut his
say I
hair.
like Logano or Hamlin or anything. Chill out. Um, and then of course my boy Eric Jones.
Oh God.
Love
He
that
made
guy.
your list?
Huh?
He made your list.
Yeah, those are my faves.
All right. You do you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I feel bad the way he was, Eric Jones, the way he was, kind of forced out of Gibbs. Like, I feel like he had a good driving ability, and he showed that the first year we had the next gen cars, and everyone kind of was like on more even ground, so to speak. And yet, you really saw where he had that driving ability and where he could make it work. But I
All
feel
right.
like he could really excel in some better equipment.
Yeah. Couple questions then. Yeah. How do you feel about one of your other drivers, Bell, taking his ride at Gibbs?
Well, see, that's difficult. Like I understand their decision. Like Bell's a great driver, and he's probably better than Eric Jones. But
Probably.
okay, he's better than Eric Jones. But I mean, Eric Jones still had that talent. Like I'd put him in the 19 over Briscoe probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that'd be
Yeah.
I don't know about Eric Jones' contract, but he'd be another good choice
Yeah.
for Dodge. I mean, he's got a
I mean, that's in the Toyota family.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Do you like it? I mean, we don't ever see Eric Jones do good now because of the equipment he's in. I know you just said you want him in better equipment, but do you like to see him do well? Because that means Jimmy Johnson does well, right?
Well, while I have my thoughts about Jimmy Johnson, I still pull for Eric Jones every week.
Yeah. Remember, this is a Hendrick podcast, man. We love JJ.
Yeah, yeah, we do, sure.
All right. Um, Last thing is that you said um, Byron was your top Hendrick driver.
Sure.
Blaney was your top non-Hendrick driver. Who's above the other? Which one do you pledge allegiance to more?
Oh, that is
Is there
close.
one? Is
That
there one?
it's tough. It's tough. I would say I would give a very, very slight advantage to Blaney over the 24
Yeah,
right now. And that's hard to do because of, I just love the 24. And
yeah.
and But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I love Byron too. Yeah. My son loves the 24 more than anything. Taught him well.
yeah.
But yeah,
I
yeah. Just
I
a
feel
slight
very
edge.
similar to you. I obviously Chase is number one, but if I had a second driver, it's one of those two guys, and I don't know which is above the other,
Mm-hmm.
Byron and Blaney. I love when both of them do well, and
Yep,
it
yep.
hurts when one of them doesn't do well. Um, so I feel you. Which I feel.
Chad Effleyfield.
All right, last question. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of NASCAR? Top four greatest NASCAR personalities, you can call it. Probably drivers, but
Oh, okay, okay. Well, see, I had well, there's a couple different lists. If we talking strictly about drivers, then we got to
mine's
go.
dri my
Huh?
list would be drivers.
Okay, we talking about drivers, then we not gonna include what's his face. I can't even think of his name now. I have it in my notes here.
You had him on Mount Rushmore, but you can't think of his name?
No, no, no. It was
Corey LaJoy.
no, no, no. Like the like the founder of NASCAR.
One of the Francis, whatever his name
Yeah,
is?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. Like if we're talking about non-drivers, he would be included, obviously. Like he's the founder of
Okay,
NASCAR and everything. But
okay.
we go in drivers. You got to go Richard Petty.
Yeah,
You got to go Dale Earnhardt.
senior.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got to go Jeff Gordon.
Duh.
The fourth spot is the tough one because you got to choose between Pearson and Johnson.
Mhm.
But after careful consideration and everything, you got to go David Pearson.
Oh, good. So we do have a different 4.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Alright. So, but does that say Jimmy Johnson is your honorable mention? He's 5th?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Alright, cool. Thanks for being honest.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, he probably would be fourth if he didn't. I feel he didn't take so much away from Jeff's success.
Yeah. I've heard that too many times in my life. Alright. Well, let's move on to the race preview. We'll try and make this as quick as we can because there really isn't a lot to talk about. But you did say you wanted to share something. So
I
I
do
wrote
over
down
there.
a couple stats. I'll share my stats first because I feel like yours might be more important and might contribute a little bit more to our race preview. So Mexico City's coming up. This will be the first time the Cup Series is raced at Mexico City. Am I correct?
The cup race, correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So since since I don't think any of our guys have raced there, what I wanted to do real quick is just give. I mean, in the Cup Series, um, I'll let you give your info in just a second. Yeah. I know that some drivers have because I heard on Denny Hamlin's podcast that he raced there like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so before you fill us in with your info that you dug up, what I wanted to do was just give the amount of road course wins that our guys have going into this. This is a street course, but it's a road course race. So Kyle Larson has 6 road course wins in his career. Chase Elliott has 7 road course wins. William Byron's at 2 road course wins, and Alex Bowman has the 1 road course win that was last year at the Chicago Street Race. So they all have proven to be able to get to victory lane at a road course, but we have not seen Cup cars in Mexico City yet. So what do you want to add to our race preview, sir?
All right. All right. So let's focus on Hendrick first. Um, like you said, they all have good to decent road course history. I'm predicting top 10 for Byron, Larson, and Elliott, but with the exception of Bowman, he's not going to be in the top 10. Um, we got I would put them
Wait, you
in
doing predictions right now?
wait, what?
You're not doing your race winner prediction, right?
No,
Okay, all right.
no, no,
Keep
no,
going. Keep
no.
on.
Cool, cool. So I'm gonna put them. In fact, I'm gonna put all three of those Hendrick drivers that I said are gonna finish in the top 10 in tier two.
Okay.
I'll give you my tier one on I guess, the next question.
Okay. Well,
Or do you just
so
want me to
have
keep talking about the Mexico?
yeah, have any of our drivers raced there before?
None of those. No Hendrick drivers.
Okay, but some other drivers have.
Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin have both won races there in the
Okay.
Xfinity series.
Okay.
And that, yeah, that was, I want to say, like 2006 and prior. So like you
Many
said, about
many
20
moons
years.
ago.
Yeah,
Many
yeah,
moons
yeah.
ago, yeah.
And then
Okay,
of
got
course, so yeah, and then of course, Suarez has driven on that track before, but that was almost 10 years ago for him as well. So we
okay.
got three drivers who have seen that track before.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Now, yeah, I heard that from Denny, and he also made a note of when he raced it to now. There are a few different changes with the layout. Obviously, some
Hmm.
turns have been added or taken away or whatever. But yeah, he said that obviously they've all done sim work leading up to this race, so I'm sure many of them will be very familiar. He said it races good and that there's a lot of passing zones. So that's good news for a road course, especially a street race like we're about to get.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, did you want to add anything more about the Mexico City track or anything like that?
Well, the Sim King is definitely Byron, so that's going to be a benefit to him. Like he gets the most out of the simulation experience, I believe. And
Yeah,
then I'm not sure if you saw, but Tyler Reddick was actually sleeping in a tent to replicate the high altitude that they're going to be racing in to, like,
yeah.
I guess, get his breathing on track or whatever. So
Man, that
everyone's
sounds
doing their own thing to prepare.
just like Tyler Riddick. Gosh,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, but he makes me cringe so much. Yeah, there's no way I could possibly root for that guy.
All right. You want me to give you some um 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 I don't really have any more info on Mexico. Got
That's
some more
fine.
predictions and tiers.
You want predictions and tiers? Okay, so don't give me race winners yet. Will that conflict with whatever you wanted to do your tier talk?
No.
Go for it then.
You said race winners, or do I pick a race winner?
Well, we're gonna be picking the three race winners in just a few minutes.
Forget the tier talk.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to that then.
Yep.
So before we make our predictions, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out some of the betting odds for the race this week. Um, what I do is I look at the Hard Rock app, and so I did this probably 2 3 hours ago, and jotted down who the favorite of the race is. I jotted down all of our Hendrick Motorsports guys odds, and then also some notable ones that kind of stuck out to me to consider for this week. I usually like to preface this section with anybody listening, you are free to gamble and you're free not to gamble. Do not listen to anything I have to say. This is my podcast, so I'm going to share whatever info I want on it. And Jeremy's going to join me in possibly making some predictions. That doesn't even mean that we're putting money on this race this weekend. It's just something fun to think about and consider.
Gamble
But
responsibly.
yeah, so the favorite for this race, I'll have you. You know your NASCAR stuff, so I'm going to have you guess at some of these. Who do you think the favorite is for this race? Maybe you already looked and you know.
I already know.
No,
I do know already, yeah.
oh, you do know. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
The favorite is SVG,
SVG, yeah, he's plus 300.
right?
So, yeah, for anyone that doesn't gamble, plus 300. That means if you bet $1 on him, he'll win you $3. If you bet $10 on him, he'll win you $30. So, all right, yeah. Um, Hendrick Motorsports odds. Do you know all their odds?
I do not.
No. Who do you think has the best odds amongst our four drivers? It actually did kind of surprise me, but it shouldn't surprise me.
It's I know why it surprised you because it is I kind of remember seeing it. I want to say it was Chase Elliott, wasn't it?
No,
Was
no.
it Byron?
Yeah, William Byron.
I thought so.
Yeah, he's got the best odds amongst our drivers. So his odds are plus 750. Um, but that is the third shortest odds in the field. So SVG is a big favorite, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
quite surprising.
yeah. Next for our crew are both Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. They are both plus 850. And
That's
that's
what I
fifth
remembered
shortest
seeing
odds.
Larson like not even the second favorite by himself in Hendrick. He's tied with Chase.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, a little interesting there. And those will change depending on how they qualify too. So um if Larson qualifies bad, I might consider putting some money on him because his odds are gonna go up a little bit.
Mhm.
If he qualifies on the pole, then his odds are gonna decrease and I'm not gonna make a whole lot of money on him. So but right now, he's one of the top two favorites every week, everywhere we go. So this is the one week that you might get a little bit more money on Larson. But and then last, of course, is Alex Bowman. This week he's plus 3,000, which is the same odds he was last week in Michigan. So this week he is 15th shortest odds in the field, meaning there's 14 other guys expected to win before he does. Um, So I got some notables that I wrote down. Some that stood out to me when I was looking through the list. Um, do you happen to know what Daniel Suarez odds are this week?
I I don't know off the top of my head. I saw he was like maybe halfway down the list.
Yeah, I mean decent odds for him anyway.
Right.
These are
Yeah.
some of his best odds he's had all year. He's going to be plus 1,400.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, you're
and
talking
then
about some of my long shots here.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So these next three guys, they are they all have the same odds. But Logano, Hamlin, and Blaney, they are all plus 5,000.
50 to
So,
1. I saw that.
yep. Yeah, that means $1 wins you 50 or $10 wins you 500 when any of those guys win the race. Two more that I wanted to shout out is I looked at the top manufacturer. For Chase Elliott to be the top Chevy this week, that would be plus 700. He's already plus 850 to win the race. So plus 700 just to be the top Chevy, that's pretty darn good. And
Okay.
also the same with Chase Briscoe to be the top Toyota. He's also plus 700. They both have the same odds. Both Chases have plus 700 odds to be their top manufacturer. Briscoe, he's going to have to outrun Ty Gibbs and Christopher Bell. Trying to think of some of the other guys in the Toyota camp that are expected a little bit more of this week.
I would
But
definitely expect a
Chase,
lot from Christopher Bell.
yeah, yeah. Tyler Rex on that list too. He's a Toyota.
Yeah. What does
Um,
SVG drive? Is he a Chevy?
he's a Chevy,
Yeah,
which
that's why Chase Elliott's odds are
is
so
Chase
good for
Elliott is
that.
plus 700 odds, right? Because Elliott's going to have to outrun Byron and
Mhm.
SVG and
Mhm.
Chastain and Larson and Bowman, who won the street course last year. So that's pretty good money. I might just dabble in that. But yeah, that's all the odds that I wanted to mention. Let's make our predictions. I'm gonna give three predictions to win the race. We're gonna do a Hendrick winner, a non-Hendrick winner, and a long shot. And so whatever this tier talk is that you want to add in at any point, just feel free, all right?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. We'll start with the Hendrick winner. Okay. Um, this week, I'm going to go with those plus 700 to be top manufacturer and the plus 850 to win the race. Chase Elliott. Um, Look, I know that he hasn't done it in a while, but he's still so daggone good at these road courses. He's got 7 career wins at them for a reason. Um, I think 4 of those were consecutive wins. He was pushing one of Jeff's records there. I think Jeff had like 5 or 6 consecutive road course wins, and I'm the Jeff Gordon protector, so I was getting a little nervous there too.
Yeah, he was getting
But
real close to those Jeff Gordon road course wins.
this Chase Elliott is very good at these road courses. If you remember back earlier, I think it was Coda this season. He came back and drove all the way up to fourth, and I mean he was hustling at the end. He usually does good at the end of races anyway, but you know these ovals lately, he doesn't contend for the win. This does feel like the 1 week that maybe he can get the win. So, who's your Hendrick winner?
I got to go with the 24. I think it's going to be Byron.
Pretty confident in that.
Yeah, yeah. I
May-
feel
Maybe not winning the race, but at least beating the other three Hendrick
correct.
drivers.
Correct. Yeah, I feel like he's going to do the best of the Hendrick series. Yeah.
I hear you. That's a good pick. Can't go wrong with him anywhere. He doesn't seem to have a weak link.
Yeah, yeah. Although if Chase is going to beat them all, it's going to be this week.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Um. All right. Non-Hendrick winner. Well, I guess I gotta go with the guy that I picked in fantasy this week. So I'll go with the 45 guy that makes me cringe the most, Tyler Reddick. Nothing else to say about that.
Completely unwarranted. Well, I'm gonna have to go with Christopher Bell,
No, I wonder why.
the guy I picked this week in fantasy. But no, no, I mean that was my tier one was SVG, Bell, and Reddick. I feel like those are the three best drivers on this course.
Okay,
And then
cool.
all three of the I had Byron, Elliott, and Larson all in tier two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So your tier one was Bell, Reddick, SVG.
Yep.
All right,
And
gotcha.
and we go into long shots now, right?
Long shot. Um, yeah. You said yours earlier, right?
I gave you a couple of them. I
That was the
mentioned
one you were
that
considering.
Suarez was mentioned in there.
Okay.
In fact, all the guys I
Um,
mentioned that have raced this before, Suarez, Bush, and Hamlin, are all in my long shots. I know it's funny to put Hamlin in the long shot, but like you said, he is 50 to 1.
plus 5,000. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah,
long shot this week.
yeah. I mean, and it's that's probably a pretty good bet. I mean, it's not completely out of the question that he wins like the group that they're putting him with right there. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
Blaney's much worse on road courses than Hamlin is. He's got
Right.
some road course wins,
Yeah.
and then
And I don't think that that is taking anything into consideration with his baby either. Like,
correct, correct.
yeah, it's good odds. Um,
Yep, yep. And then
who's the one guy you're landing on though for a long shot?
Gibbs,
Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think he was around the 2250 area, maybe. I
Yep,
don't
yep,
even
yep.
remember.
He was really good in that street race last year that Bowman won.
Yeah. Okay.
He finished third.
Um, yeah, he kind of needs something to go right in this season, and he's coming off a third place finish, so we know he was
Hmm.
heartbroken by that, but that could be a little bit of a jolt for that team.
I think so. He's good on
All
road
right,
courses.
yeah, my long shot, going with Alex Bowman. I have no reason to back this up. I got no support for it, but he won the street race last year,
Exactly.
and
It's
this
the
is the
closest thing
Hendrick
we can compare
podcast,
this to.
so I got to go with him. Hendrick Motorsports is too good. So any chance I get to take them at plus 3,000, I'm going to do that. Especially when he's not the defending winner of this race, but it kind of feels that way because Chicago, Mexico City, whatever. So that's my reason.
I I I agree with that reason. This is the Chicago street race is the most similar thing to this, and he raced really
Right?
good there. I mean, it's not out of the question that he could win this race.
Yeah. Well, they got to have a miracle happen. I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, especially after that hit he took last week. I'm sure he's sore.
Yeah. True. True. All right. Well, we'll wrap this episode up with the usual. I usually do the restaurant recommendations right now, but Um, Jeremy, have you ever been to Mexico City in your life?
Never been to Mexico City, but I've been to some resort in Mexico. But
Oh yeah,
no.
you have, haven't you?
Yeah, but Xcaray or something like that. But yeah, no restaurant recommendations
Okay.
other
I
than
don't have any either.
some Tex-Mex, some Tijuana Flats you can get right here in Orlando.
Yeah. Good luck getting that in Mexico
And
City.
and the always delicious Taco Bell.
There we go again. Uh, let's see. Yeah, the only note I had was to get some chips and salsa and a margarita. So
Peso.
yeah, no restaurant recommendations this week. If you happen to know somebody in that area, you can let us know what they're eating. But honestly, chips and salsa would be great on Sunday afternoon. But we're going to be golfing, buddy.
Hey,
So speaking of Sunday afternoon, let me go ahead and give you the weekend schedule. So first of all, we got Xfinity leading off the weekend. That's going to be on Saturday at 4:30. That'll be on the CW. And then we have the Cup race on Sunday at 3 o'clock on Prime. Both of those races are in Mexico City. First time that I think NASCAR's ever been there. Um, there have been other forms of racing there, I guess, wherever Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Suarez have raced before in Mexico City. But yeah, we're headed there international. And next week, we'll come back and give our thoughts on it. Like I said, I'm going to be golfing with this guy. It's going to be Father's Day. So I'm sure maybe I'll watch a little bit of the race replay. But we'll break it all down next week. Hopefully our guys can pull off a win. We've only got 4 wins this year. And so we're a ways off of my mark is 12 for the season, and we're a little bit below the pace right now of what we need to do to get to 12. But we do have road courses coming up. We do have super speedways coming up. We're a great team. We can do it at any of those tracks. Every week we are a threat. And even this week when we go to a brand new track, we still have 4 complete threats on our roster. So yeah. Anything you want to add before you get on out of here, Jeremy? This again, people. This is my best friend. He doesn't do a whole lot of social media, but you can find him on there. You just find him through my pages or whatever. Uh, but yeah, I loved having you on, brother. I love having the rainbow lights in the background. Your camera did start doing the slow motion thing. You're
oh
not as smooth
no,
as you were
oh
earlier,
no.
but the hat looks amazing. The shirt looks good. Um, so I'm sure the playback's going to look excellent. Is that an open? Um, what is that closet behind you? That's just wide open for everybody to see.
Yeah, I got all my see, look here, let me give you a little inside scoop here.
Oh boy. Oh,
So I got all my collectible boxes in there, but all the collectibles are over here in the glass case. And that over there.
I don't know how this is going to turn out later, but I cannot make out a darn thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot the slow motion. Got some Jeff Gordon stuff over there. Probably couldn't see it.
Nah, no clue. No clue. All right, bro. Well, you want to say anything before you get on out of here?
You ain't first, you last.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. Shake and
Shake and
bake.
bake.
Hey,
Peace,
that's
bro.
how we're signing out this week. All right. Happy Father's Day, y'all. See you next week.